Hello, friends. Once again, it is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. It is ugly and raining, and we sure need it here in California. Anyway, today is a very unique day. I'm using a white, like a coffee cup, versus my big red mug that I always use because of the tea. It's called Lapsang Souchong. And Souchong tea, this is Indian. And again, this is Pete's. And this is a very unique tea because it is a really different kind of a tea. This has a red color when it goes in your cup. That's why I'm putting it in here. It's got a red color to it. And it does have a lot of those very exotic Indian flavors to it. But one thing is, this is one of those teas that is purposely infused with pine root smoke. So in other words, they smoke pine root, they get all that smoke, and they put it through this tea. And this tea has a taste almost like, well, for one thing, it's very, very strong. I'd almost call it pungent. This is definitely not for everyone. But it's got a taste like something's just been charbroiled. It tastes like that. It tastes very smoky, like that accent you can buy in the store to put on your meat to make it taste smoked. I mean, that's exactly what this tastes like. But it's unique and it's interesting, but it's very, very strong. It's incredibly strong. And so you don't need very much at all, especially in a smaller cup like this. This is about a 12-ounce cup or so. But you open it up, and right away it hits you. This smoky flavor. It's almost like a campfire. It smells like when I was in the Scouts. It smells like those campfires. Unbelievable flavor. But again, it's very, very strong. And if you get too much of it, trust me, if you get too much, you will start feeling nauseated. I think, let's say probably about that much is all it takes, right there. You really don't need very much of this. So, again, this is called Lapsang Souchong, like that. Lapsang Souchong. And, well, it says it's China black, but the fact is a lot of these are actually Indian teas. So, we'll go with this as China black. The main thing about this really is the aroma and the flavor. It's almost pungent. It's so strong. It is. It's like smelling a campfire at scout camp. That's exactly what this is like. It's like meat that's been charbroiled. That's what it tastes like. So, what you want with something like this, is something a little more savory, okay? Not maybe as sweet as maybe citrusy and savory. So I have these. These are little cherry puffs that a neighbor made. And they aren't terribly, terribly sweet. And I think that really goes with this. I think the fruit flavor really complements this without being terribly sweet. So that's what we've got going on here. So let me go get my water, and you'll see how this comes out, because you're going to be a little bit shocked, or surprised, let's say. So I'll be right back. So let me get this. You see, I don't have my red mug today, but I do have my red pot, my red water pot, my red teapot. So this water is very, very hot. So watch what happens here. Initially, it's like this. And I don't know how well this is coming out, but it goes from a yellow to a kind of a green, and then once it all soaks in, this becomes a very red-looking tea. See, you can see it already starting to tint red there. it is a very interesting thing going on here. As I'm looking at it with my natural eyes, I don't know, it's not coming out too well, the color on this camera, but it is starting to really tint up. But the aroma on this is just, I don't know, it's amazing, but it's very, very strong. It's a great taste if you have it in small enough numbers, a small enough amount. It's a great taste. And what we'll do is we'll let the tea soak in, let it settle to the bottom, let it soak for a while, then suddenly this is going to take on a pinkish-reddish. You can see it's already starting to do that. Take on a pinkish-reddish tint. That's kind of when you know it's ready to go. But this is a lot of... there's just really a lot of flavor in that little bit of tea. And as I'm looking at it again with my natural eyes here, it's starting to get really, really red in there. It's starting to, especially right down there in that center, it's getting really red. Maybe you can see that. When it becomes a lot more red, when it becomes a lot more pink, and as you can see, it's coloring up like that. That's when you know it's ready to go, and it's a good tea in moderation, and that's why again the cherry puffs here. Thanks to my neighbor. They think that since I'm single and living alone here that I'm starving to death, so they're always bringing me food. They're Latinos as part of the culture. I think that is just fantastic, and I appreciate it, and I always give them Christmas gifts, and if I cook something a little extra, I always make sure I share it, that sort of thing. My reading today is some of my favorite, and the reason is because it's musical. I'm a huge music nut. I'm a huge guitar nut. But just the gizmos, just the stuff, the things that you can... I don't even know what half of this stuff is, but I so love looking through it. And of course, all the fabulous guitars that are, of course, tremendously overpriced. But some of these mixing boards and the different stuff, there's DJ panels, and there's a light bar, and there's a what they call a quad audio interface, whatever the hell that is. I think this is all just fabulous. Here's a DJ controller thing, and it's only about $300, so I guess that's not bad, but some of these are just amazing. Gretsch is one of the best guitar lines there is. And we're talking about they're offering the price at $874. An excellent price for Gretsch. Guild, here's a Guild guitar for just about $1,100. Another terrific price. So I really love guitars. I really love music and equipment and goodies. And even if it's not a guitar, even if it's something like drums or something, I'm stopping and looking and examining. And I mean, here's all these gizmos and all this stuff. Now I know what this is because it's you put it on the ground and you play it with your guitar. You step on the little buttons and it gives you different changes in tone. There's wah pedals. There's lots of different amps. I just love all this stuff. And again, these little things, these little foot controllers, these little pedals that provide different things like different kinds of reverb and different types of sounds, different voices. I love all this stuff, all these little gizmos. Here's one I actually used. The Source Audio, it's known as a hot hand. And you can do 3 different effects. You can program in 3 different effects with this, and then as you're playing, you can just step on this, and it changes the tone of your guitar, because your guitar is jacked directly into this, and then this is jacked into the amp. There's some more amp heads. The one complaint that I have about the music industry, about the guitar industry, is I think these little amp heads here are kind of overpriced. I think everywhere you go, these amp heads, now obviously they act as controllers for the amp, for the different tones and stuff. But I came from an era when all that stuff was just built into the amp, like it is here. If you kind of hard to see, but they got the controllers right there on the back side of the amp. Or here, these amps like this. See this? That's what I grew up and what I've been playing throughout my life. That's what I've been playing. Taylor's a really good guitar. Taylor's a great guitar. I'm more of a Takamine guy, and I now have 3 different Takamine acoustic electrics. But the Epiphone, they have the Epiphone White Dove and the Hummingbird and whatnot, and they sound terrific, and they're about 1/10 the price of Gibson, though it's a Gibson company. More speakers and different like PA outputs and just all this stuff. I sit down and I read all the specs. I try to pick up the lingo, and of course you really can't every time. But in the days when I played in bands, I played mostly in blues bands, and you didn't really use a whole lot of this. I got to tell you, you had an amplifier or not. Depends where you played, and you just didn't have all this expensive stuff. I mean, $4.99, $6.99, $9.99, and $2,000 for this group right here, this bunch right here, and this one over here, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, and $9.99. This group here, that's just unbelievable. Now this here is a studio mixer. This is a digital studio mixer, and it's like $4,000. But from what I understand, it says optimize your PA quatch feedback, whatever the hell that is. Optimize your PA quatch feedback. Okay, I do know what that is. Run wirelessly from iPad and iPhone. Record multi-track with one click. Produce a real DAW. Distribute your music only with Studio Live AI. I guess it's trying to tell you it's artificial intelligence. But this stuff just really, all the microphones and the different stands and the different just gizmos. I mean, I love to just sit down and look at this stuff. I think this is just really great. And some of these are very good priced, very well priced. Like that entire rig right there. Well, it's like $500, but it's got the digital controller, the mic, and the wireless that goes with it. Some of these are as little as $150. And I'm sure there's people out there who would look at this and say, "Man, let me give you some explanations and let me give you some terminology here, and make me sound like a complete idiot." But that's okay. I just do this for a hobby, so I really don't care if I'm a little bit inaccurate. But yeah, it's all this stuff. I just love to look at this, and also magazines that have to do with cinema cameras and all the goodies and connections and hookups and the lights and the sound and all that stuff. Just that technical stuff, cables that you plug in, and you read stuff where people are saying, I was able to do this thing with that, and that did this, and, unbelievable. Now here's a I own a pair of these, a really, really good pair of headphones. These are DJ headphones, and they're about $90, but they're really, really good quality, and I use them when I plug into my computer, and I've got a little adapter that goes with it. I plug in my computer, and or something I want to just hear just on my own without sharing it. They're extremely good extremely good headphones, these earphones. Tascam, everybody's heard of Tascam, and a big preamp. They do this here is recording devices. They do electronics of just every kind. Mostly, I think, for the sort of the professional music industry, they do a lot of things. That's where I've heard it before. And then the drums. These are these digital drums. These drum heads. A regular set of drums. My brother had a set like this, and it was, just like that. And except they were blue and acrylic, and they were transparent, made by Ludwig. And in those days, we're talking about the 1970s, they cost about $600. And then here we have the digital kind. You just touch these and they make this big boom noise, and then symbols that go with it. All this stuff, I just love tinkering with things, with tools and putting stuff together, and all that. So, yeah, this is all really good. Keyboards, digital keyboards. I had a girlfriend one time that she could face away from the keyboard and play just about any song with her hands in opposite positions. She could play. She knew her instrument that well. It was unbelievable. And Korg, in fact, that was the brand name of keyboard that she owned, was Korg. I don't know if any of these were probably what she played or not, but what I want to get when I get rich and famous, I want to get one of those pianos that you put a CD in and it just plays automatically, a modern day digital player piano. I really want to get that. So this gives you a price for some of these DJ units that they use in clubs and whatnot. This looks like a stereo system looking at you, but actually this is the flat on the table unit as you're looking down at it. That's what these are. This is the one here. This is $19.99. As you can see, it's quite the unit. Here's the one that they're selling for $9.99. Which seems to me this would be a better deal. It's got 2 turntables on it, but oh well. So, Les Paul Jr. This is the deluxe LPJ, and I think they're selling these for about $800 or $900, which is an excellent price. It really is. So, anyway, time for me to get back to my tea and my little cherry. She called them cherry puffs. Her husband calls them cherry bombs. I'm a little hesitant to even try it, but I will. So here's my tea, pretty much ready to go. You can see that coloring in there. And it's still not coming out. You still don't really see it, but it's just very red in there. So, have a great day.